Shalom, children. We are back with the Israelites today as they are camped in the wilderness of Paran, right near the land of Canaan. Yahweh has promised to give the land of Canaan to the Israelites, so he told Moshe to send men to spy out the land to see what it was like. Each tribe was to send one man to go on this journey, a total of 12 spies. One of these men was named Yehoshua. He was from the tribe of Ephraim. Another one of the spies was named Caleb, and he was from the tribe of Yehudah. Moshe instructed the 12 spies to enter the southern part of the land and continue to the mountains, so they could return and report what it was like. What kind of people lived there? Were they strong or weak? Were there a lot of them or just a few? Was it a good place or an evil place? Did they have camps or strong buildings? Was the land rich or poor? Were there forests or open fields? These were some of the questions they needed to answer. It was the time of year that grapes were ripening, so Moshe told them to be strong and to bring back some fruit from the land. The men set out on their journey. When they arrived in the land, they saw some descendants of Anak living there, who were very big and tall. In a valley named Eshcol, they found much fruit. They cut down clusters of grapes and also some pomegranates and figs and carried them on a pole. When they arrived back at the camp, they reported their findings to Moshe, Aaron, and to all the children of Israel. They said that the land was good, a place of abundant fruit. They said, "We went to the land where you told us to go. Look, here is a sample of the fruit that we found. The land is flowing with milk and honey." Now, you would think that they would know by now that Yahweh was on their side, and that they didn't need to be afraid of the people living in the land. But look what they said next. In front of all the Israelites, the spies moaned, "The cities have walls, and the people there are strong. We saw the descendants of Anak living there, and also the Amalekites, the Hivites, the Jebusites, the Amorites, and the Canaanites. They are stronger than we. There is no way we can win a battle against them. They are giants, so big that they make us look like grasshoppers." But one of the spies, Caleb, he told the other spies to be quiet. He believed Yahweh was with them and they could take possession of the land. But it was no use trying to convince the people of that. The Israelites cried and cried. They started complaining that it would have been better for them if they had died in Mitzrayim or in the wilderness. They said, "We should just go back to Mitzrayim right now. Let's find a new leader who will take us back there." Well, this attitude did not make Moshe and Aaron very happy, and it certainly did not make Yahweh happy. Moshe and Aaron fell onto their faces, and Yehoshua and Caleb tore their clothing. Now, tearing your clothing was how people used to show that they were very sad. Yehoshua and Caleb told the people that the land was good, and that Yahweh could bring them into the land and give it to them. They told the people not to be afraid. But the people then wanted to kill them for speaking like that. Well, in no time at all, Yahweh showed up in the tent of appointment. He was very, very unhappy. He had done so much for the Israelites, but they still did not trust him. He said that he no longer wanted these complaining Israelites to be his people. But Moshe begged Yahweh to reconsider. He was concerned that other nations would think that Yahweh was not powerful enough to bring his people to the land that he had promised them. Because Yahweh is patient, loving, and forgiving, he agreed to forgive the people, but he would still have to punish them for their disobedience. There were many, many people who had seen all the great things Yahweh had done to free them from Mitzrayim and lead them safely through the wilderness, yet they still complained and disobeyed him. Because they would not believe him, Yahweh decreed that none of them would be allowed to enter and possess the land he had promised them. Only Yehoshua and Caleb would be allowed to enter, because they had a different kind of spirit in them, an obedient spirit. Yahweh told Moshe to turn the people back the next day and travel into the wilderness by the way of the Sea of Reeds. He decreed that all the registered people aged 20 and older would die in the wilderness because of their grumbling. They would now have to wander in the wilderness for 40 more years, a year for each day that they spied out the land. During that time, their little ones would grow up, so it would be their children who would finally get to go in and live in the land that they themselves had rejected. As for the spies who had brought the bad report about the land, they got sick and died. When Moshe went to tell the Israelites all that Yahweh had decreed against them, they were sorry that they had sinned. They wanted to muster their fighting men and go and take the land as Yahweh had first told them to do. Moshe warned them that it was a bit late for that, because Yahweh was not with them anymore. But they decided to go up to the mountaintop anyway, without Moshe, and without the Ark of the Covenant. Just as Moshe expected, the people they came up against who lived there beat the Israelites because they had not listened to Yahweh or to Moshe. One important thing to learn from this story is that we should always listen to Yahweh no matter what. Well, children, we have come to the end of our story for today. So we will see you next time for another exciting Torah portion. Shalom.
Yahweh makes me lie down. Yahweh makes me lie down in fields of grass and pleasant green.